Oh, sorry. I couldn't tell because the screen went black. Okay. I'm going to turn this down a little. Wait. Okay. So I just realized that I also forgot to mention the time management piece on how to get started if you're feeling overwhelmed and you don't have any time. So my key to overcoming time management issues is to break it down into 3 of the most important values. What do you value? What's important? So I read an article last week, I think, about how as an entrepreneur, you basically can keep 3 things like in the air at one time. So I think some of the options were health, family, friends, your business, sleep, maybe exercise. I guess health was like eating. But so there's a bunch of things, right? So how can you keep them all in the air? You're never going to get all of them perfectly balanced. So what are the 3 things that are most important to you? Those are the things you need to focus on. And I know that maybe you're like, but 3 sounds like so small of an amount. Like I need to add more in. You can only handle 3 things at one time. 3 things have to take precedent over others. So maybe that's family, maybe that's sleep, and maybe that's your business. Maybe it's eating healthy, family and friends, and your business. Or maybe but then sleep falls by the wayside. So you know, you want to be figuring out what this week is most important to me, because you're not going to be able to do everything, and it's not about doing everything all at once. It's about choosing what is important today. What can I focus on today? What must get done? What do I want to get done? What is going to take, what is going to create the life that I want? Because if family is important to you and you're not putting any time or effort into family, guess what? The family is going to suffer. You're not going to have, you might have a business, but you won't have a family. If you choose family, sleep, and your business, maybe your social life is going to dwindle. You know, maybe that's going to happen. If you do sleep, family, business, then maybe your health is going to suffer. Maybe you're not going to be as active, so then you're going to be having some physical ailments. So focusing on the 3 most important things, and then where you have space, you can put the other things in. I'm not saying completely stop, but I mean, noticing that 3 things is really the maximum that you're going to be able to fit in at one time. So maybe one week it's this, maybe the next week it's that, maybe half the week it's this, but it's very difficult, and nobody expects you to be able to juggle all things at all the time, right? So maybe not putting so much pressure on yourself to be able to juggle all those things. I'm a terrible juggler. So if this is visual in my brain, and I'm like, okay, I am a terrible juggler. I can really only focus on one ball at one time. That is difficult enough for me. So I have to actually schedule out which ball or which thing I'm focusing on that day. So maybe that's going to be something that helps you, is to choose one thing a day that you can focus on. Hey, Lisa Marie, love ya. So I'm talking about values and how to manage your time, but I'm now going to switch gears and talk about the question, which the question was, how can we quit listening to all the shoulds that other people tell us? You should be doing this, or you should be doing that, like I just did. You should just only focus on 3 things. Well, the most important thing is I'm sharing with you what I find with my clients, what I've read, but you have to decide what's right for you. And if you're feeling overwhelmed, maybe it's time to consider other people's ideas of how can I help myself? But if somebody's saying to you oh, you should just be happy and satisfied with what you have rather than be wanting to create more, asking what would I tell my best friend in this situation? Like if somebody was telling her what to do and it was not connecting with her and it felt really shitty and it was actually breaking her down, like I just talked about in the other video of what happened to me, if you were your best friend and you were going through that, you were feeling like everyone was breaking you down with all the things that they thought you should be doing, then what would you say to your best friend in that instance? And maybe you're like, oh, it's kind of difficult to figure out what it is that I would say to my best friend because I'm thinking about it from my perspective. Then write it down. So one of the things I would do is write a letter to your best friend as if you're going to send it to her in the mail, telling her how you are feeling. Write everything, write it to her, be super honest, and then take it from another perspective and look at that letter as if your best friend just sent you that letter and was feeling that way. What would you say to her to help her out of that? And I did this with a client last week actually, and it was very powerful. Like her whole voice changed because she was like, getting into it, you know, like you're protective of your best friend. If somebody's breaking her down, if somebody's telling her what to do and it's not working for her, you are going to get your back up and you're going to protect your best friend, and you should be doing the same for yourself. I wish I had thought of this when I was going through that. Thank God I had people to help me out of that, but those people were acting as my best friend. Thanks, Vanessa. Like, learned so much this weekend from going through my own struggles with people breaking me down and telling me what I should and shouldn't be doing in my business. And if I had sat in that, I wouldn't have quit on yesterday, which is Monday. So honestly, asking for help was very powerful. If you can't ask anyone for help in your immediate family or immediate friends circle, then definitely write a letter to yourself, pretend that you are your best friend, and find out what you would say to that person. So the next thing I want to say with that is that you want to be connecting with what is powerful for you. Like, what do you think you should be doing? Because I can tell you what I would do or what I think I should be doing, but in the end, it doesn't matter what I would do, because what is your intuition telling you to do? What do you feel is right to do for you? And then considering, yeah, like maybe if what you think is right is not working, then saying, okay, how else can I do this? Maybe getting outside opinions. But if those people have no idea, they're not in your space, they've never heard of this, then maybe it's just their fears coming up and asking, how can I influence this? So I like to do this thing when my fears come up where I have already prepared comebacks for them. So I know if I think to myself, who am I to be doing these videos? I'm like, okay, well, I have all this knowledge inside of me. I've been through this. Who am I to keep it as a secret, right? So if I can help somebody else, I'm going to do it. I don't really care what other people think of me. If it helps somebody, then it was worth it for me. So if my fear says to me, who are you to be saying this? I already have a comeback for it, right? So coming up with comebacks that you could say if your fear or other people are getting in your head. For example, when I quit my job this week, I work in an office of 10 older men around the ages of 48 to 65, okay? Just me and 10 men. And so when I, of course, the 29-year-old woman in the office said, I'm retiring and working for myself, immediately some of them were like, oh, like that is so risky. They would say, it's so risky. I like getting my paycheck every 2 weeks, knowing that I'm going to get that. I can rely on that. But I know that I have a comeback for that. So I'll say, is your job really secure? Because you could lose your job at any time. Like, you don't have control over that. Or that it's really risky. Well, maybe also staying in the same job and, you know, not having other options is risky. One of the things I talked about with one of the men today was about how it's very expensive to live in the city that I live, and you know, a lot of people can't afford to just live on one income, which is why so many people are starting businesses on the side, why so many people have side hustles. They're trying to supplement their income, create more income so that they can afford to live, to afford to do the things that they want, to travel, to maybe provide for their family, provide for their kids, whatever it is that they are using that money for. But a lot of people are creating side hustles to supplement their income. So they were like, oh, well, that's risky. Well, or is it more risky if I don't do anything? Part of the reason, I don't know if all of you know this, but part of the reason that I actually kicked my butt into gear in order to make this, like, quitting my job a possibility was because I had an experience at work where I almost lost my job. So my boss yelled at me, and I don't do well with yelling. So I said, can we have this conversation at another time when you're more calm, because I'm feeling attacked at the moment? And he, you know, got nervous about that. I said the word attacked. So he called HR, and he had been with the company for a long time. So they said that if it came to that, that I would be let go instead of him, because he had been with the company for a long time. I don't know if any of you guys have read some of the stuff going on at Uber lately, but it's similar situation there. Like, it was the people that were being sexually harassed that were the ones that were losing their job or not getting promotions or things like that. So it's not unheard of in corporations in this day and age for that to happen. And so that really put me on notice, where I was like, oh my goodness, hold on a second. I could be doing a great job at my job and be doing everything right, and I can still lose my job for literally no reason. It is possible to lose my job over this. So I was a single girl. I live on my own. I said in the other video, I struggle with asking for help. So I don't necessarily feel comfortable asking other people for help. So I was like, I need to make sure that if I lose my job, that I can still afford to live. So what am I going to do? So that's kind of what kicked my butt into gear, to be like, okay, like, I need to make my coaching business like not just a charity. It needs to be like, I'm coaching and making it a real business, not just a hobby, not just something I do for fun, but something that is my passion, freedom business, right? So that potentially could be my business if I lost my job. Turns out I didn't lose my job, but I dove deeper into my business and was like, hold on a second. I'd rather do this than that. I'd rather do my business full time than work there. So that's actually what prompted me to even start creating my business so that it was sustainable for me to leave my job in the first place, was that I didn't actually know if I would be secure in that job. So you can influence what people say to you by offering an alternative answer, a comeback of sorts. The same way that I would tell my fear what I thought of it, is you can also tell that to your people that are bringing up your fears or their fears, or telling you what you should or shouldn't do. Hey, Tanya, I was going to message you and call you. I'm so happy you're here. But you can definitely influence what they think or what they say, or even just their exposure to something, by sharing an alternative view. Not to say that they're actually going to take it or even listen or hear it, but you can influence that, because maybe they actually didn't know. A lot of the guys at my office just had no idea about this world at all. My boss in particular is very techie, and he had no idea about any of this stuff. So he learned a lot from me being open to offering an alternative perspective on something. In fact, now he's like, can I hire you for my wife? Like, so you can have control over some of their thoughts by influencing them, by explaining. And then at the very last thing, when you're struggling to overcome other people telling you what you should or shouldn't do, I ask for a sign. So like I will ask for a sign, and I don't know if you guys were on my Instagram today, but I told this story on my Instagram where a couple of months ago or weeks ago, I was really struggling at work, and I was thinking to myself, like, am I really supposed to be here? Like, I just feel like I am not supposed to be at this job. And I was walking back to my car after work, and I was like, honestly, if I am supposed to work at this place, can you please just give me a sign? Like, I just need a sign. And less than 3 minutes later, when I arrived at my car, I had a parking ticket on my car because I had forgotten to pay for the parking, because we have an app for the parking, so you don't have to do the like tickets. So I had forgotten. It's the only time in the past 2 years of me driving to work and parking in that parking garage that I have ever forgotten to pay for my parking. And I was like, okay, loud and clear, I hear it. I was clearly not supposed to be here because now I have a parking ticket. So ask for a sign if ever you're in doubt of, what am I supposed to do? I don't know. I don't know what my intuition's telling me. All these people are telling me what I should do. I don't know who to listen to. I don't even know how I feel. And so please just give me a sign. Show me where I'm supposed to be, or what I'm supposed to do, or what I'm meant for. And then be open to receiving your sign. Some of them are better than others. Certainly getting a parking ticket was not my favorite sign that I could have gotten, but I did ask for it. So to wrap things up with this question and move on to the next question is that definitely ask for help, ask for a sign, write a letter to yourself, speak to your best friend, whether it's internal or external, and do what you think is right. Like, not everybody knows, and like if they haven't been in your shoes, then they don't know what's right for you. Okay? They've never walked your walk, they've never lived your life, so not everybody knows what is best for you except you. Okay. On to the next.